So we back with another video. Today we got y'all boys with the top 10 albums of all time. Now, similar to the song one, it's not really fair for somebody like me to do a video like this where I have the same artist multiple times. So we gonna do 10 albums, really gonna be like 15 because of honorable mentions, where every single album is gonna be by a new artist. There's not gonna be no doubles. I'm gonna give you honorable mentions based off the other albums that I thought about putting on this list that the artist made, just to give those other albums some credit. And I won't lie, this is every album, but at the same time, this is only the albums that I've listened to. So it's not gonna be, it's gonna be mainly rap, some R&B, maybe a pop, but for the most part, it's gonna be just a couple genres. It is gonna be kind of calmed down on that part. So if y'all do want more videos like this, all you gotta do is like the video. Hope you like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff out the way. Your boy Fitz, let's hop into it. Alright, so hopping into it, wasting no time. Rules and regulations. Off the rip. Only one album per artist because of my artist bias. I'm gonna be honest. If I wouldn't have did that, this would have easily or could have easily been a list with just 3 to 4 artists, and I could have just called it a day. So I wanted to be fair and get as many artists on here as possible, and that's just really what it is. Now, another thing I'll say is there's gonna be some people's albums that's on here that I just haven't listened to enough. So I feel like that just wouldn't be genuine of me to put on here. So when you think of certain old school like R&B, I just don't listen to that as much. I've been listening to it a little bit more lately, but like I just don't feel genuine of me to put those over albums that I just have heralded in this top 10 for so much longer and have spent so much more time with, if that makes sense. So I just would say I haven't spent enough time with some of these other artists, some of these other albums as the albums that I have on this list, and the honorable mentions. At the end of the day, you gotta understand this is all my opinion. I hope whenever y'all do stuff like this, that this is based off what you know, what you've seen, what you've heard, anything like that. Don't base, really actually more so don't base it off what you heard, because when people do that, they don't really put any of their opinion in it. They just really be saying what everybody else say. That's just facts. What I'm doing is pretty much just based off me. Just that simple. Now, there are ways that opinions can be changed. That's time. Time can change a lot of things. It's just really what it is. But right now, today, this is my list. But yeah, let's hop into those honorable mentions. All right, so everything on this list is in order. We got honorable mentions. We even got honorable mentions within the top 10 based off the album that that person has, because we are only doing one album per artist, like we said in the rules and regulations. So hopping into it, the first honorable mention. Now, this is a two-way tie, but they're from the same artist, Birds and Rodeo. Now, if you've seen my tier list from a couple ago, I had Birds as Travis Scott's best album. That was to me. Now, I will say, if you know how I look at albums, I look at the 1 through 10 cohesiveness is really big. The consistency is really big. The skips is really big. The hits is really big. The best songs is really big. The deep cuts is really everything in terms of pertaining to the album. The versatility is cool. That's important, but like it don't have to be versatile. I just don't want every song to sound the exact same when I'm saying versatility. So that's important. But if you are versatile and able to do all the other stuff I said, that is gonna be a plus. It's a lot of things that goes into it. If you experimental, that's cool. If you're doing something that nobody ever did before, that's another thing that's pretty important. But yeah, I just want people to understand that before we go too far. But Birds and Rodeo are tied. I think Rodeo has to be an honorable mention on this list because of how different it was as a trap album. Just in general, I think even still to this day, if you look at trap albums, that is probably still to this day the most different trap album ever made. Like, you can put in the comments down below some other ones. I'm actually interested to see what people would say is a more distinct or different trap album than Rodeo. Looking back on it, I never understood how people even called it a trap album. It doesn't really sound like any other trap albums to me. But yeah, Rodeo, from the cohesiveness to the direction of it, the concept of it is amazing. I give Travis all the credit in the world for the the concepts of what he does with his album when it comes to the rodeos, when it comes to the Astroworlds, and what he's probably gonna do with Utopia. I think the way Travis does his features is beautiful, beautiful. I think it kind of gave. I'm not gonna lie. Before, well, no, I was finna cap. I was finna say it kind of gave Kanye a template of how he wanted to do like the Life of Pablo's, the Dondas, and stuff like that. But Kanye had already did that before on like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So I was finna cap. I'm not gonna lie, but I think the way Travis Scott makes his first listening so distinct with the way he does it now is amazing. Where he just hides the features, and he's done that ever since Birds. I don't know if he did that when Rodeo first dropped, because I wasn't the craziest Travis Scott fan, but I did listen to it like the first week. But I don't remember if I listened to it like the first day or anything like that. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, Birds. In terms of all of Travis's albums, I think this is the most consistent in terms of the no skips. The cohesiveness is not on the level of the Rodeo. It's not on the level of the Astroworld. I think that it has some of his best songs of all time with songs like Way Back. But I also think Rodeo has some of his best songs of all time with 90210, On My Diss Side, Mariah, I'm Drunk. It's just not as consistent on a song-to-song basis, in my opinion, as Birds. So, yeah. And if you go ahead and throw in like SDP Interlude Extended onto Birds, I think you can really have a real debate on which one you really could argue is better. I'm not really mad at really anybody saying Birds is better. I'm not really mad at anybody saying Rodeo is better than Birds, is really what I meant to say, but I personally do like Birds just as much. I used to like it way more, but I'm gonna be honest, I've been listening to Rodeo a little bit more lately with the Nightcrawlers. There's a lot of good cuts on that album, and I really don't know which one to choose. Coming at number 4 on the honorable mentions, Lil Wayne, The Carter 2. Yes, if you are in the honorable mention, you are not in the top 10. I do think Lil Wayne's best album was The Carter 2. Now, I do have mixtapes counting on here, and I do think The Carter 2 is his best project in general. Now, you could, if I was to do like some honorable mentions for Lil Wayne, I would probably say like The Drought 3, Dedication 2, The Carter 3, obviously. But The Carter 2 is definitely my favorite album out of all the Waynes. I like the direction of it. I like the beat structure of all the beats that he had on it. I think the production on this album is one of the craziest production Lil Wayne has ever had. It's not really the same as Lil Wayne when he's taking your beat and killing your beat and just making your song his. That's kind of a different direction, but I love the way the cohesiveness of this album. I love it's some songs I'm not really too high on that a lot of people are high on, like the Fireman's, but on a song-to-song basis from song 1 all the way down, I really, really love this album. I just think it could be a little bit more consistent, a little less skips, but in terms of like the peaks, Lil Wayne does it here at a really, really high level. Maybe not the same peaks as The Carter 3, but I do think the consistency, the cohesiveness is just much, much, much better. As an album, for me, The Carter 2 is better than all his other stuff, in my opinion. Coming in at number 3. Now, this is going to be where it kind of gets a little crazy. I got Young Thug Slime Season 2. Not Slime Season 1, not Slime Season 3, not Jeffrey, not Barter 6, none of those. I got Slime Season 2. From me personally, I can literally use this album and throw it on in any way. So the replayability on this album is, in comparison to the only album I went over so far was really The Carter 2, Birds, and Rodeo. I think the only album that's really even close to this level of replayability that I'm gonna have so far, I really just in the honorable mention in general, is probably Birds. But Slime Season 2, there's literally, in my opinion, there's literally no misses. It doesn't really have the cohesiveness. I would just say the versatility. I would just say the replayability. I would say the consistency. The consistency is the stamp here. Like, keyword, the consistency is the stamp. The versatility, the production, and just how different Young Thug was on this album. Like, I think you doing something before anybody and doing it to this magnitude was just on a different level. Now, this is not really too crazy than what he's done before, but pretty much Young Thug making an album like this for like, or a mixtape Well, does it have 20 songs? I think it may have like 18, 21 songs on it. But when I say, in my opinion, there's really genuinely no skips. And if it is, it's just one. I cannot lie to you. And in the peaks of it, it has like the Thieves in the Night, Pull Ups on the Kids. You know what I'm saying? They got the big rap. It got a lot on it, man. I'm gonna be honest. I can literally make this album like a playlist, put it on shuffle, and go straight, go crazy. Now, the one thing I will say that really is the hit for this album, that really kind of takes it out of contention from being any higher on the honorable mentions, from being any higher in the top 10, is that cohesiveness factor, which is really, really important to me. But without that, one of my favorite projects ever made. It's that simple. All right, coming in at number 2, it was really, really tough for me to go about this one, because I think the 2 albums that this artist has or rapper has is just, it's just so hard to really say which one is better. But I think that both of these could have been an honorable mention. I'm gonna say Ready to Die and Life After Death. I probably more so rather Ready to Die than Life After Death. It's kind of crazy that these are the 2 albums that he dropped, but yeah, when it comes to everything that I've said for the criteria, when it comes to the consistency, when it comes to everything, bro, Biggie, bro, the flows Biggie was doing was so ahead of his time. The production Biggie had was amazing, so ahead of his time. The cohesiveness he had on the Song to Song album, the consistency he had from a song to song basis, the deep cuts, the peaks, bro. Biggie just knew how to do an album. He only had 2 of them, and the fact that both of them could have easily been in my top 15. But yeah, it just really kind of what it is. I would more so probably lean Ready to Die. I think it's just a little bit more consistent in my opinion, but that also maybe just because it's just less songs. But yeah, like when it comes to the peaks of both, like you could really argue both. Like it's not really much to really say here. You really could argue both, from Suicidal Thoughts on Ready to Die being one of my favorite songs, or More Money, More Problems being one of my favorite songs on Life After Death. It's really just what it is. The Life After Death just has a lot of songs, so it's like a little bit harder to be consistent when you have all those songs. But yeah, that's just really what it is. I had to put Biggie at number 2. But yeah, that's just the honorable mention. That's gonna be this album. So yes, no Biggie Smalls albums in the top 10s. That's just really what it is. It's just how it happened. But yeah, that's just kind of what it is. And last but certainly not least, when it comes to the top honorable mention on this list, had to be Tupac, Me Against the World. When it comes to Tupac, Me Against the World, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Yes, you could say that. I can see people saying Ambitious as a Rider, or not Ambitious as a Rider, but All Eyes on Me being some people's favorite album by bro. But like, I just don't really understand how you can even say that's better than Me Against the World. To be honest with you, there's just too much. There's just too much that you can say from Me Against the World. It's literally one of the most perfect rap albums of all time, in my opinion. From start to finish, the cohesiveness, the direction, the consistency. I have to keep saying this for a lot of these albums, because at the end of the day, these are my top 10, top 15 albums of all time. So like, that's just gonna be something I'll keep saying. And as we get higher and higher, it's gonna just be more consistency. It's just gonna be probably more cohesiveness. But yeah, I can't lie to you. Dear Mama being one of my favorite songs of all time. That's one of the highest peaks an album can really have. And it being right there in the bread and butter middle of your project, and you hitting them right back with an It Ain't Easy. I'm gonna be honest, man. Tupac, Me Against the World, one of the best albums of all time. Really close to making the top 10. But it's coming in at number 1 on the honorable mentions. And you know what that means. Let's hop into the top 10. Alright, so hopping into the top 10. Coming at number 10 for me is Long Live ASAP. When it comes to Long Live ASAP, the honorable mention that was actually in like the thought process for putting this instead of Long Live ASAP, I think that A$AP Rocky has one of the best trilogies in rap when it comes to the mixtape of Live Love ASAP, Long Live ASAP, and then At Long Last ASAP. But my personal favorite, this may be nostalgia as well, because this was when I first like heavily was starting to listen to music like from 2009 to 2013 for real, when I first started heavily listening to music for real. And yeah, Long Live ASAP was one of the best albums of that time in my opinion. And yeah, from the Goldies to Long Live ASAP, PMWs, we all know fucking Problems. The only thing I say is the consistency kind of got thrown out the window with Wild for the Night. But if that one song, literally, if that one song was off this album, literally, like, bro, One Train, Ghetto Symphony, Phoenix, Fashion, like, come on, bro. The consistency was on a different level. And I'm gonna be honest, I would say Long Live ASAP is one of those albums that's like a stamp for one of those. It's like a completely different sound of rap than what we was having at the time when it comes to popular rap. I think there was like a wave that he was on with like a couple other people, but I wasn't in the know of that. You know what I'm saying? At the time, this was like an album I had never heard like something like this before. It was like boom rap, but it was like a cloud. I don't know if they call it like cloud rap or not, but like, yeah, it's like it was just on like a whole different wave. And yeah, I personally do like Long Live ASAP the most out of that trilogy. It may be a hot take. I think a lot of people do love ASAP the most, but this is just the one I favor the most out of all the albums that I would have to go with. Now, when it comes to the cohesiveness, the production, I think ASAP has all that. I think even from the subject matter, I think he keeps it interesting from start to finish. So I think ASAP even has the hits. I think he has the peaks. I think he has the deep cuts. I think he has everything that you could really say for an album. And that's the album I got coming in at number 10. All right, next is going to be the album coming in at number 9, Without Warning. Without Warning, in my opinion, is the best collab tape of all time. And I'm not talking about a tape where an artist goes with a producer. No, I'm talking about an artist going with another artist and making a tape. I think this is the best one by far. I really don't even think it's close, bro. Like, the consistency they have on this album from top to bottom is just untouchable. There's literally no skips. I would honestly say there's peaks, but like, you could really argue top to bottom every song hits on a different level. Like, it's a lot of 10s on this album. Like, we all know the Ric Flair Gyps, the Ghostface Killers, the Rap Saves Me, but you know what I'm saying, the Nightmares, the Disrespectfuls, the Dark Vaders. Like, I'm gonna be honest, this album being only 10 songs makes it a little bit easier to be more consistent, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. If you gotta put less songs on the album because you want it to be a perfect album, by all means do that. It's gonna be another album on this list that don't have too many crazy. It's gonna be really actually coming right up. But with that being said, I think Without Warning being a collab take actually kind of adds an extra layer of skill gap that it's just a little harder. Going with a different artist that may not be trying to do what you're trying to do, control the album, you know, it's a lot of different things that could go into play when it comes to doing a collab tape. And for them to come together and do something to this level, in my opinion, just adds it to a whole nother level. So yeah, I think that this is honestly the best trap album, tape, whatever you want to say, of all time. And that's the album that I would have to say comes at number 9. And yeah, I would say, yeah, I think they need to drop another one. I would say that. Now, if they was to drop another one, it was to ruin, I could understand them just making it and just be like, yeah, this ain't doing it. So they just not do it. I'd rather that them come together and work on one and just be like, yeah, this ain't meeting the standard, and they just don't drop it. But like, I would love to hear another one, is what I'm saying. Coming in at number 8. Now, me being a big Drake fan, this is gonna be kind of crazy for a lot of people. I say all the time that Drake is my number 1. I think Kanye is my number 2. Those are my 2 favorite by far. Like, it's a big gap between those two when it comes to everybody else. But this dude coming at number 8, especially with the fact that he had beef with my number 1, is kind of crazy. But Daytona, I genuinely, honestly believe Daytona is as perfect of a album that you possibly can make in 7 songs. Like, the only thing that really holds it back is that it's 7 songs. Now, I will say that the peaks is just not on the level of pretty much any album on here. Like, even close. Like, every album I had lower than this album don't have the peaks of that album. But when it comes to the cohesiveness, the production, Kanye went crazy on this is one of the best produced albums of all time. Kanye went crazy on the production on this album. the consistency on this album, the cohesiveness on this album. I think this is the perfect length album for a Pusha T album because we all know what he's coming on there to do: cocaine, drugs. You know what he's on there to do. He's a dealer, and yeah, man, it's just what he's going on the album to do. And I think him doing it beyond 7 songs can really kind of get old. But I think that this is the perfect length for a Pusha T album. It has the perfect production to just really like, bro, I can't say enough about this album. It's only 7 songs. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it because he didn't spend a lot of time on it. But yeah, I think it is a top. It's not really top 8. I'm not gonna lie, because obviously if I was to put more than one album based on one artist, and no, there's not no honorable mentions for this. For Pusha T, I don't think he has any other albums that's really on this level. I think he has some other good albums, but they're just not on Daytona's level, in my honest opinion. And yeah, that's the album that comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7. Now, this may be why I don't have no honorable mentions, but I have no honorable mentions for this artist. Nothing that came close. The only thing that really would come close is Friday Night Lights. So I guess I could say that as an honorable mention, but I don't think any of his other mixtapes, I don't think any of his other albums comes close. J. Cole, 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Man, this is one of those albums that's like, honestly, going back and doing this list and trying to listen to it, I'm gonna be honest, it's an album that honestly is timeless. There is nostalgia there, I will not lie, but when it comes to going through this album top to bottom, I honestly have no skips. When it comes to going to this album top to bottom, it has the hits. Top to bottom has the deep cuts. Top to bottom has the peaks. Top to bottom has the cohesiveness, has the production. It has everything that I'm looking for in an album. And when it comes to J. Cole, I think that this is his best album by far. It's not even close. The off season is not on this level. KODs is not on this level. Born Sinner is not on this level. I think Born Sinner is one of the more underrated albums as well in J. Cole's projects. The only one I would even say is like even close, or not even close, but that would be the closest is definitely Friday Night Lights, but I don't even think that's on this level. But 2014's Forest Hills Drive, I really do like this album a lot. From the January song to the Love Yours, which is my favorite J. Cole song, to obviously the No More Role Models and stuff like that, man, it's a great album top to bottom, and I can't stress it enough. Comes at number 7. It kind of pains me to put him so low, but I'm gonna be honest. At the end of the day, he's a top 7 album of all time in my opinion. If we just doing one album per artist, so obviously he still wouldn't be 7. But yeah, it just is what it is. He's up there. All right. So if you didn't click off for the Young Thug honorable mention, you're gonna click off now. If you're really coming here to hate, you're gonna click off now. This is your time to click off. Coming in at number 6. Now, I could do honorable mentions if I wanted to be nasty, if I want to get crazy with it. But I ain't putting no honorable mentions because I don't think any of those albums would have even remotely been a top 15 album on this list if this album didn't exist. I would have had it as an honorable mention. I don't think it would have been anywhere. It wouldn't have been better than Birds of Rodeo. So I can't say like the other two. But it's going to be Whole Lotta Red by Playboi Carti. And yes, that means I don't think Dial-Lit is on the level of any other album on this list. I don't think that Self-Titled is on the level of any other album on this list. But Whole Lotta Red is a top 6 album on this list. If we're saying based off every like one of these artists having just one album on it, based from an artist standpoint, it would be 6. Now, I will be honest. I did a different list that was top 10, and it had all my favorite albums, all the best albums of all time, and a Whole Lotta Red still came at number 10. So I will say that. So yeah, that's just really what it was. But Whole Lotta Red, what gives it the boost for me is how different it is. Now, people like to say it's not experimental, but I'm gonna be honest. Point me in the direction of an album that sounded anything like this before it dropped, and then point me in the direction of an album that was this different. Keyword, this different as Whole Lotta Red, and had as quick of an impact on the sound of music, on the sound of what was popular so fast. Like how quick it changed on certain rappers because they wasn't evolving. How quick it changed on rappers that like wanted to do this sound. Like how quick it changed of like a lot of things in just like 3 or 4 years now. Since this album dropped is so crazy. I would say for a 24 song album, if I had to say it had a skip, I would say there is 2 skips. Me personally, Jump at the House and No Sleep are the ones I'm skipping. I'm not listening to those songs, especially No Sleep. But for some people, those are their favorite songs. When it comes to an album like this, bro, the versatility, the difference of songs, like, bro, there's songs on here that sound the same, but the way he puts them in are just so crazy. Like, I don't even know how to really explain it, man, but Carti did such a good job of really promoting this album before it. I'm gonna be honest, he did a great job promoting it before it dropped, building the hype up, but the way he's going about forcing this album on people after the fact with his performances, his tour, all the things that he's done after the album to overcome the hate that really was stamped on it at the beginning. I'm gonna be honest, I've not lived to see an album transform the way it is received as much as this album. I have just never seen that. I remember I was at the time when Take Care dropped and that got hate. I was at the time when, let me think of some albums. Kissland got hate, but like it was also people that loved it, and it's still people to this day that hate those 2 albums. But when it comes to Whole Lotta Red, it is such a polarizing album in terms of how many people hated it and how fast it changed the game and how fast people was to switch on it. And yeah, man, Whole Lotta Red from an album perspective, the peaks on this album, the highs on this album, the deep cuts on this album. I'm gonna be honest. Out of all the albums I'm gonna go over on this list, it's gonna be a hot take. I'm not gonna say it has the highest peaks. I'm not gonna say that. But in terms of how many peaks are on this album, I would argue there's nothing that's touching as many peaks as a Whole Lotta Red has. And that's for me, but I'm gonna be honest, that's just what I believe. So yeah, that's the album coming in at number 6. Just missed this top 5. There's no honorable mentions for the Cardis, but yeah, that's just what it is. Okay, so coming in at number 5, this is like the hardest one for me to rank because I said this, it's my second favorite artist. Now, when it came to him being my second favorite artist, I think his catalog of albums is the best catalog of albums in music history. And I don't really think it's that close for real. Like, it's some people that's up there, but like I think his is just stamped. Like, it's stamped. You know what I'm saying? And when it came to his albums, the only thing is, if we're putting it in terms of a top 15 perspective and we're having all these different things, he does everything so well except for one thing perfectly when it comes to Flashing Lights, Homecoming, like all on one album. And I didn't say Good Life, I didn't say Champion, you know what I'm saying? All on one album. And I'm not really a big Homecoming guy like other people. I think it's an amazing song, but some people think it's one of Kanye's best songs. I don't think that. I'm not really a big Flashing Lights person, but I can see how iconic the album song is. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, bro, Graduation is like, it's really just tough. I'm gonna be honest, it's really tough to do this with Kanye. I can't lie to you. I would personally say that Graduation is one of his toughest albums for me to say is his best, but I have to say it's his best. If it's not that, it's either My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, College Dropout, or Late Registration. Anyways, is my favorite album, but those are the ones I would probably have to say is the only ones that's really in real contention with Graduation. And yes, Graduation comes at number 5. But yeah, if you guys want to say if we can edit albums and take off like the last 3 songs and just make that the perfect album, then yeah, you can just go ahead throw My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy at 1 and just lower every other album that's above this. You know what I'm saying? Down. You know, just bump them down. But like, it's just not. It's not real life. You can't do that. That's cheating. But obviously, Kanye has the best production when it comes to these albums. Like, it's just, tough to beat Kanye production. It's just kind of what it is. All right, and then for the top 4. This is funny to me because 3 of the albums in the top 4 are quote-unquote debut albums. Now, the number 1 album is a debut album, but like they counted the album that he dropped before that, that was like a compilation album, as a mixtape. So that was actually his debut, but this is his debut. The person that's next was his debut, but he actually did have other albums before that, but it kind of just what it is. But yeah, coming in at number 4, Illmatic by Nas. Now, you may be starting to realize that a lot of these albums, for the most part, are a little bit on the shorter side. The only one that's really crazy long for real was really the Whole Lot of Red, and then Long Live ASAP. Those are the really only ones that's really even that long for real on this list. And I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna really continue to be like that for the rest of it. I kind of really rather the albums that's like 10 to 15 songs more so than anything. I think A Whole Lot of Red is like the rare few that didn't really have to be short to really. I think that the fact what made that what it was the fact that it had that many songs. It's really what made that album so crazy. But when it comes to Illmatic, let me say this about Nas first. When it comes to being an artist, when it comes to being a rapper, the person that literally is by far the most underrated on both ends of the spectrum. I think Nas may even really get his credit where it's due as a rapper, but from an artist, from how good of an album he can make on a consistent basis, and really, you could really say Nas got 2 primes now. Nas does this for real. When it comes to his honorable mentions, I put It Was Written. I didn't put Stillmatic. I didn't put any of the other ones. The only honorable mention I ended up with was It Was Written. But yeah, I think he's by far the most underrated rapper / artist of all time. If you don't really want to call him an artist because he's just a rapper, I'm not mad at that. But yeah, I don't really understand the gripes with Nas, because some people be like, I can't put Nas on this level because his production is not on par. Bro, like, I don't know what you're listening to, bro. Like, I listen to Illmatic, bro, top to bottom, bro. It literally is top to bottom. Feels like one big song, bro. The cohesiveness is amazing. I like the production on a whole nother level. It just, when it comes to making an album of this magnitude, honestly, bro, I think it was so far ahead of its time. Like, the quality on this album, like, I feel like, honestly, if you can get people to honestly sit back, I know some people of nowadays really don't mess with the boom bap, the rapidy rap, but like, for real, like, Nas was doing stuff that was just so far ahead of his time, bro. Like, the musicality and how good this sounds, bro. Like, the replayability of how this is. Like, I don't even know how to even fully put it into words how good Illmatic is, to be honest, because I'm gonna be honest. If I'm being honest with you, I know that a lot of this list is more so rap than really anything else. I really more so rather like singing more so than rap. But most of my favorite albums of all time are rap. But I think a rapping album is a little bit easier to mess with than an R&B album. Like, it's just really what it is to me. But yeah, Illmatic is one of the toughest albums for me to describe, because when I listen to it, it has the peaks, it has the consistency. It may not have the versatility you're looking for, but no skips. 10 songs that are just, in my opinion, perfect for the album. I don't think there's just any other way he could have made this album and it could have been perfect. Like, not perfect, but any better, should I say. When it comes to like the boom bap raps, I'm not really a crazy boom bap rap fan. I'm not really a crazy rapidy rap fan, but the fact that I love this album and listen to it so much, it's honestly, I really don't even know how to explain it. And it's not even like one of those albums I just put on shuffle. I go hit the Genesis front to back. front to back, just straight front to back, and it just put it on repeat. And then if I get tired of listening to it, I just turn it off. But like it just doesn't happen. I just turn it on and just let it go. I don't put it in a playlist with other people. I just let it go. I just go on Illmatic and put it on. Like when a lot of these other albums that I got on here, I throw some of the songs on the playlist, and I just listen to it like that sometimes. Sometimes I just put it front to back. Illmatic is one of the only albums I have on this entire list that when I listen to a song off Illmatic, I'm listening to the album. You know what I'm saying? I want the full experience. You know what I'm saying? And the way I'm thinking about it, I should have even put it higher because that's really the only album I do that with when it comes to. Actually, no. I think the one I have at 1, I do that with as well. But with that, the fact that I do that at 1 and I put that 1 and I do that with Illmatic, it probably should be higher. But for some reason, I have it at 4. But that's just really what it is. All right, now after all that stuff I said about Illmatic, I think that this album is like the modern day version of that. And to be honest with you, I think it may be a little bit nostalgia is why I have this over Illmatic. I'm not gonna lie. But Good Kid, Mad City. And I have no honorable mentions because I don't think there's any albums that would have been a honorable mention on this list. Like I don't like Damn at all, so that had no chance of making this list. I think To Pimp a Butterfly from a concept of what he was going for, in my opinion, is really good. And I think it's grown on me a little bit, but it wouldn't have made this list for me. I'm not really too high on that album, to be honest. But I think for what it was a very impactful album. Like impact wise, one of the most impactful albums of all time. I think Whole Lotta Red was impactful for one reason, but I think for the greater good, To Pimp a Butterfly had a way more important impact in my opinion. So I think that does mean something. So I think that does have to give it some type of points. But so I will say that. But Good Kid, Mad City, Standalone, coming in at number 3, my third album of all time. When it came to the regular list, it came at 3rd. For Illmatic, when it came to the regular list, it came at 4th. So actually, no, it didn't. It came at 5. There was another album that was in between that and Good Kid, Mad City. But yeah, Good Kid, Mad City, I think that this is the epitome of a rap album for me, because it's not like the versatility of 2. It's not even the same genre as 1. So I probably would say this is my favorite actual rap album. This is what I think is the best rap album. But I'm gonna be honest, I may be tripping on the Illmatic. You really go. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's the modern day Illmatic. I'll give Illmatic the respect. If you want to say Illmatic is 3 and Good Kid, Mad City is 4, that's fine. But Good Kid, Mad City, for what Kendrick did with the storyline, I think the real reason why I put it here is because how Kendrick kind of did the album. He has the whole storyline. The cohesiveness is untouchable. The bonus tracks, literally like are no misses. Literally no misses. But like the deeper, like the more you listen to Good Kid, Mad City, the more you get from it, the more you understand the storyline. It's like supposed to be a play or something like that. It's supposed to be a movie or a play or something. Or I don't remember what it's supposed to be, but it's supposed to be something. And like, I love that. I love that aspect of it. The fact that he's like drawing this story, painting this picture from start to finish, and like no skips. It's no skips when it comes to the fact that it's just the consistency, the production. It's literally produced by Dr. Dre, bro. Like when it comes to my producers all time, Kanye, Dr. Dre are my favorite producers of all time. And I'm gonna be honest, the fact that I don't have either of the Chronics on this list is kind of crazy. I'm gonna be honest, thinking about it. I think the Chronic should be in a tie with Birds and Rodeo. You could put either one of them up there with them, but whichever one is the black background with the green, I think that's my favorite one. I don't know which one that is, but that's my favorite one of the two. And I think that's the one I probably should have put up there with Birds and Rodeo. So looking back at that, I probably should have did that. But yeah, man. I think that this album is very nostalgia. I think that the fact that I had this over, I really had something I had to say for Good Kid, Mad City. But after all I said about Illmatic, I don't know how I put this above Illmatic. It had to be the nostalgia. I'm not gonna lie, it had to be the nostalgia. But Good Kid, Mad City is amazing. From the art of Peer Pressure to Sing About Me, Die of Thirst, to the hits they had from Poetic Justice in Swimming Pools, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, the remix with Jay-Z. It's so many different moments. It's so many different things you can talk about. I even think there's versatility within the album. But when it comes to the song Money Trees, which still to this day, until one song called The Heart Part 5 drop, was my favorite song he ever made. Yeah, man. Good Kid, Mad City, top to bottom. Not really much you can say. I can go over songs for the bonus tracks. I'm not. The Recipe is a really amazing song. You put that, if he would even put that in the album, it would have probably made it an even better album. But the fact that he stayed true to what his vision was, I gotta give bro credit for that, because like, he stayed true to what he wanted to do and the vision that he had, and he didn't want to hurt the concept of the album and the quality. I gotta give bro credit for that, because The Recipe is one of the best songs he's ever made as well. And the fact that he didn't want to mess up the quality of his album, or the focus or the vision that he had for the album, and throwing that in there probably because he had that song, I think that has to mean something. I know y'all was waiting on this. Coming in at number 2, Nothing Was the Same. Yes, Nothing Was the Same, because that number 2 albums of all time for me. And I know, bro, if you didn't click off of the Young Thug, you didn't click off of the Whole Lotta Red, you gonna click off now, because yes, I'm a Drake fan. That's my favorite artist. I think that Drake has the number 2 album of all time. That's just me. Nothing Was the Same. It's the album I put here, but if you want to do some honorable mentions, I say Take Care and Care Package. Care Package is a little bit of a cheat code, so I kind of dock points, because it's literally some of his best songs in between albums. It's just songs of like best Drake. Pretty much, that's the best way to describe it, and it's literally like of different time periods, and he combined it and threw all those songs onto an album to make him an album. I think if he called anything a playlist, it should have been this. Like, when he was dropping More Life, he should have dropped this. This was the real More Life. Like, you know what I'm saying? When it came to him calling it a playlist and all that. But yeah, Nothing Was the Same, in my opinion, is the best Drake album. Take Care is up there for sure. That's the album that I actually did have it for, because yeah, I think the real reason why I have Nothing Was the Same higher is just the consistency. But like, I have literally no skip. Like, there's not a skip I have on either one of those albums. I don't really think there's a skip on Care Package, I'm gonna be honest. The thing that puts Nothing Was the Same ahead is, I would say, the peaks. That Nothing Was the Same, from the Tuscan Leathers, from the Pound Cakes, from the Furthest Things, the Connects, you know what I'm saying, the Come Throughs, the Wu-Tangs, you know what I'm saying? It's some crazy peaks on here. And if you was one of the people that listened to it when it actually first dropped, The Motion, which is one of the best songs by Drake, that's the actual real outro of this album. So, me personally, I think Nothing Was the Same is Drake's best album because of the consistency and how different it was for his time period. I think you don't get an album like Trap Soul without Nothing Was the Same. The production that some of the songs on Nothing Was the Same has is very, 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 very similar to the production that Trap Soul has. So I personally, every single time when I first heard Trap Soul, I was really like, this Nothing Was the Same type of production. That's literally what I said when I first listened to it. Now, that may be the Drake fan in me, but I'm gonna be honest. Before Nothing Was the Same, I really didn't hear no album with that type of production where he was doing like distorted beats and stuff like that, where he was doing like the reverse beats. I love the sample placing that he had on this album. I love the way he did this album cohesiveness wise. This is probably my favorite cohesive album ever made. I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to how every single song blends into another song. The versatility when it comes to Drake. This is probably not his most versatile album. I think Views is probably his most versatile album, but I think this is his most, how can I say it? I think this is the best way he did versatility when it comes to choosing when to rap, choosing when to sing, choosing when to do singing and rapping, choosing when to go for a hit, choosing when to not go for a hit. I think this is the best album when it comes to just picking and choosing when to do things and how to blend it all together and where to put. Bro, another thing that's really important for an album is song placement. So like, say for instance, if Tuscan Leather isn't the intro, like, where would he put, where else could he put it? Like, that's another thing that I had an issue with for a couple of these albums. Like, Pink Tape, when it dropped, That song placement is terrible. Business is Business has 2 different albums based off song placement. Like, song placement is one of the most underrated, most important things, and that's another thing that Illmatic does perfectly. Good Kid, Mad City, perfectly. Nothing Was the Same, perfectly. And I'm not just saying because of the cohesiveness. It's just the fact that, like, if Furthest Thing doesn't come after Tuscan Leather, where else could that go on that album? You know what I'm saying? If The Motion isn't the outro on that album, where does it go? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know, bro. If these albums don't go in this place or that place, where would they go? And I think Drake does a lot of the things at a crazy level. When it comes to the peaks of this album, I think that this album has great peaks. Is it on the same level of like the Graduations, the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? No. But are they higher than the Good Kid, Mad Cities, the Illmatics for me? Probably. Are they higher than like 2014s? Probably. Are they better than A Whole Lot of Reds? Probably. I think Kanye's peaks are just like undebatable. You know what I'm saying? I think that there's some peaks on Nothing Was the Same that's better than pretty much anything on Graduation, but better than anything on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy has the best song ever made. So that's not really something I'm gonna stand on. So I think Nothing Was the Same, Take Care. You could have put either one of these here. Care Package is really probably his best album, but that's really a cheat code. It doesn't really have any cohesiveness either. But like when it comes to the peaks, like literally for me, every song is a peak because literally like I don't know what to really tell you, but those are some of the best out. Like some of those songs that he was making should have been on those albums. Like it's like 5 songs that was of the Take Care era that should have been on Take Care and would have been some of the best songs on Take Care. That's on Care Package. So like I don't really know what Drake was on dropping that, but yeah, it's just really what it is. But that's the album that comes in at number 2. Coming in at number 1, the album that I believe is the best album of all time, also my favorite album of all time. So obviously there is bias, there is opinion. So yeah, that's just kind of what it is. But yeah, Kiss Land by The Weeknd. Just really what it is. It's not really much for me to say here, man. Kiss Land, in my opinion, is the epitome of an album. Everything that I said about Illmatic stands here. They have the little bonus tracks on Kiss Land, but like, if you just listen to the album for what it was, how it was originally made, I don't know if I can really say the word perfect for any other album if I didn't say it for Kiss Land. Literally perfect. From the singing ability, from the subject matter, from the production, from the cohesiveness, the consistency, the hits. I will say the peaks on it, for me, even for me, I wouldn't say they're on the level of Nothing Was the Same. I wouldn't say they're on the level of some of Kanye's best peaks. But when I say this, I genuinely think every song on this album is on the same level of quality. And the worst song on this album, for me, is Live For It, and that has Drake on it. And it's literally, in my opinion, the best Drake and Weeknd song ever made. And that's the worst song on it. So, like, yeah, Kiss Land, in my opinion, when it comes to making the best album, when it comes to being the best album, in my opinion, it is the best album. Now, Kiss Land is one of those albums like Illmatic where I just throw that album on and listen from it start to finish every time. I even listen to that bonus track start to finish. I really need to have an album. I need to download 2 different versions of the album, where one with the bonus tracks, one without them, because it's so much better without the bonus tracks. But the bonus tracks are good too, because one is just another version of Wonderlust, and the other one is just a random song that's not even his. But yeah, I really do love this album a lot. I'm gonna be honest, going back on this, I really honestly wish I had more R&B, but like, the only albums, I'm gonna be honest, that I would have put even remotely on this list is a Prince album, a Michael Jackson album, and a Marvin Gaye album. The only thing that really hold me off with the Marvin Gaye is because I listened to that album. I listened to an album that when I was little, because my grandma would always have it playing when I went over her house. That's the only one I really would even put on this, and I just kind of got back into listening to it. So I don't have the time to really, you know what I'm saying? I have the nostalgia, but I don't really have the time set with it to even really try to even cap on y'all and say I'm throwing this on here. Prince for sure could have been on here. I'm gonna be honest, he for sure could have been on here, but like, again, I feel like if I would have put it on here, it's just because I was forcing it because I just been listening to it a little bit more lately. Michael Jackson for sure could have been on here out of respect, but again, that's one person for sure I would have put on here just out of respect. I don't think he honestly have an album as good as the Marvin Gaye album I'm talking about, and as good of an album, as good of two of the albums that Prince has. So I really feel like if I would have threw Michael Jackson on here, I would have just been forcing him. Now, if we would have been talking about songs, that's a whole different debate. Like, Michael Jackson got it on the songs, like, he just got it. But like, you could really say that this list is top to bottom is perfect. There's some songs that's just a little bit higher because of impact. There's some songs that's like, when it comes to the highest songs, on pretty much the top 4, cohesiveness was really, really key, and I think cohesiveness in the whole list was key. But there was just other stances that like was just on a different level that had it that high. Like Whole Lotta Red was really that high because of impact and the peaks, how many peaks it has. Like, it just has to be that high. Like there's no other album under it that's really on that level, in my opinion. But 2014, that has crazy cohesiveness. Daytona, crazy cohesiveness. Me Against the World, great cohesiveness. Either one of the Biggie albums cohesive. Birds and Rodeo cohesive. You know what I'm saying? So majority of the list for me as an album, I think cohesiveness is what makes an album. An album, that's really the difference between you just going and finding some of your favorite songs from an artist and making a playlist, and an album being an album. I think the cohesiveness and the song placement is really the two most important things to an album, in my opinion. Obviously, the consistency is up there too, but like, yeah, it's just really what it is. Because consistency probably is the most important, because like, if an album has no skips, that kind of is the most important. Like, if every song on the album is great, obviously that's gonna be a better album than an album with great cohesiveness, great song placement, but there's skips. You know what I'm saying? But if you can see why he put this song there, that has to mean something at the same time as well. But yeah, that's my top 10 albums with honorable mentions. But obviously it would have been a lot different if it was just the top 10 albums, and I could have just put as many Kanye albums as I wanted. If I could have just put as many Drake albums as I wanted. You know what I'm saying? It only would have been like 3 Drake albums though. I'm not gonna lie. It really probably only would have been 3, because it's only a top 10. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I could have did a top 25, and it kind of would have got interesting. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's just what it was. I do appreciate y'all boys if y'all did make it this far in the video. I know I probably was blowing you a little bit in this video when it came to the honorable mention, when it came to reaching the top 5, when it came to the top 2. I probably blew your shit even more. But this is all my opinion. And what I say is, when it comes to an opinion, that is not something that really can be proven. When it comes to fact is something that can be proven or disproven. Opinion is something that can change over time, and this is just how I'm feeling right now. There may be an album that I sit with. There may be an album that comes out this year. There may be an album that comes out next year that comes in and takes this spot. There may be an album that just grows off me. Maybe this album just ain't aging that well for me. I don't think that's gonna happen with any of these albums, because most of these albums are older albums and they're aging like fine wine for me. But Whole Lotta Red is really on this list because, like, in terms of an album from 2020, I'm gonna be honest, and I'll say this: Kissland, Nothing Was the Same, Good Kid, Mad City, and Take Care are my most listened to albums ever. College Dropout, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Graduation, Late Registration, 808s, 100% in that as well. But Whole Lotta Red, in terms of how much I've listened to that album since it's dropped, in comparison to like any other album since that album dropped, I think it's a bigger gap than any of those albums. Now, you could say because of the fact that Nothing Was the Same had so many good albums dropping at the same time of it, like Good Kid, Mad City dropping the same year, like an album that dropped that was in top 10 of this was Long Live ASAP dropping that same year. You could say that. When it comes to Take Care, other albums dropping in that same year. But yeah, before I end, I want to make sure I say the honorable mentions that I had for Kissland. I think After Hours was the top honorable mention. Starboy was right there after it, and then Beauty Behind the Mask. I want to make sure I say that. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Like I said, if you got to do one more, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. There's a lot of stuff I can do with this top 10 stuff music-wise. I can do the top 10 songs of all time. I think that would be very interesting. There's no way I can hold Michael Jackson off that. That's like, it's Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying, right? But yeah, that's just what it is. You got one more. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you do. Without further ado, I'm out of here, man. All right, yeah. Now, videos, I'm having to re-upload some of these videos because of the fact that, you know what I'm saying, some things that have happened. But these videos are too big of a deal to not get reposted. So hopefully y'all did enjoy. Hopefully you did like. Hopefully you did subscribe. I appreciate it. Y'all see the channel. Go ahead, subscribe. Make sure you got notifications on. All that good stuff out of here. Your boy Fitz, man. I'm out of here.
Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!